They got Tron.
Yes, yes.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey travelers, welcome back to Roberto's Room. So if you were on my channel just a few days ago, you'd know because I posted a short on YouTube on this channel because I was going to watch the new Tron Ares, and if you saw the short, you know that I made it about halfway through the film and had to turn it off because, to be fair, I just found it so boring. And I know that some of y'all probably are kind of curious, especially if the second half of the film probably was better and thought, okay, maybe he'll finish it. Maybe if he'll finish it, maybe the end is actually better. And not to spoil the review, but
No, it wasn't.
before we get into this review though, if you would please drop a like down below, and if you would please subscribe. Every subscription helps. We are on our way to 250, so close. Well, let's get back to the review.
Smile, everyone! We're back.
But I want to talk about it because the franchise of Tron as a whole is an interesting one, especially with me. I was not a fan of the original 1982 Tron with Jeff Bridges. I didn't really care for it. Of course, that was a lot before my time, but it wasn't something that I really cared to watch just because it wasn't on my radar growing up at all. But for those that grew up in the 80s, I know Tron was something of a phenomenon. And my experience with Tron, actually, as probably most of y'all's as well, if you're around my age, came when Tron Legacy, directed by Joseph Kosinski, came out. Now, Joseph Kosinski is an interesting director because he actually directed Top Gun Maverick, and he directed the brand new film with Brad Pitt, F1. And he is a phenomenal director, and honestly, not having even seen the original 1982 Tron, I fell in love with Tron Legacy. It is a beautifully shot film. The visuals, the story is captivating, the whole idea of legacy, which they, as the name suggests, really dive into it. And like most of you, having seen Tron Legacy, and unfortunately when it came out, it didn't do the box office numbers that I know Disney would have wanted it to do, especially back then when they were getting into the whole remake / legacy sequel era that they're fully entrenched in now, which is a video that I will be making because there is something that I did want to talk about, the so-called legacy sequel / remake era that Disney has consistently been going down that whole road. But Tron Legacy for me was a masterpiece. I remember going to the theater and being blown away by the film. All of the performances, Garrett Hedlund, Jeff Bridges, Olivia Wilde, even Michael Sheen as Zeus. I thought this was just a captivating world that was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So much so that I actually went out and I bought the very limited, very special edition of Tron and Tron Legacy together on Blu-ray DVD combo pack with the 3D Blu-ray. That was very hard to find. I got my hands on it at a pawn shop, believe it or not, and it gave me the opportunity to go back and visit the original Tron film, which I actually liked a lot. Of course, you know, with the leaps in technology that there's been, which Tron itself is a commentary on technology, I didn't really like it as much, but I did appreciate what those filmmakers back in the 80s did, and I think it was a real big leap, and I really see why there is such a pull for Tron, especially given Tron Legacy. And like most of you probably were wondering, okay, when are they making a sequel to Tron Legacy? I mean, they've been milking every other franchise dry, so why not revisit a movie that, after its release, got a really nice cult following of people that were passionate to see where the story would go next, especially where they left it with Garrett Hedlund's character and Olivia Wilde's character, and even Jeff Bridges. Again, that movie was perfection in many ways. So when Tron Ares was announced, I was optimistic. I was actually a little excited because of all of the loose ends that they kind of left in Tron Legacy, the whole legacy aspect of the film, and seeing Garrett Hedlund back and Jeff Bridges, only to find that Garrett Hedlund was a no-show, Olivia Wilde would be a no-show, and instead we would get Mr. Morbin Time himself, Jared Leto. Now, Jared Leto has been kind of a polarizing figure in recent years, that being because although he is an Oscar-winning actor and he has that title to his name, he cannot get into a franchise without being the worst part of said franchise. I just mentioned Morbius a minute ago, but also, of course, we all know his Joker in the DCEU and how maligned that take was, especially after such a gorgeous take on Joker that Heath Ledger did, rest in peace, back in 2008 in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight. So given the fact that he was going to be in this film, a lot of people automatically got a little apprehensive, and I admit I did as well. And I didn't really hear a lot about the film other than Jared Leto's in it. That really was how they were deciding to market the film, that Jared Leto was in the movie. I don't know if Disney executives saw Morbius, because I think that had they seen Morbius and the Suicide Squad from 2016, I would think that they would not market their film solely on Jared Leto. But nevertheless, that was how they were marketing this film. We weren't really hearing about Jeff Bridges. We didn't hear anything about Garrett Hedlund. And as the cast was being announced, we were instead noticing that all new characters were coming, and this was really a different kind of story that was not tied into Tron Legacy at all. And that's when I started to smell the blood in the water. Because we all wanted a sequel to Tron Legacy, and I think that most of you that are watching this video would agree with me that we wanted a sequel to Tron Legacy. However, because it was a Tron sequel, and after the trailer started coming out, I thought, okay, it looks good, it looks like Tron Legacy, just red instead of blue, so maybe there's something to it. And I, of course, sat down to watch the film. About an hour into, I think this movie's about 2 hours and some change, about an hour into it, I had to just stop watching it, not for any other reason than this movie was, as I mentioned a moment ago, painstakingly boring. This movie is boring. Nothing happens. You have actors like Evan Peters in this movie and Gillian Anderson, but there also are some others that...
Yes.
Yeah. I'm talking about Miss Acolyte herself, Jodie Turner-Smith, that is playing a female empowered protagonist program character. Of course she is. And the more that I saw what they were doing with this film, the more that I knew that although Disney has publicly stated numerous times that they have abandoned the so-called woke agenda, it's still very much alive in Tron Ares. And I guess this is why, in spite of all of the pretty light effects, in spite of all of the pretty music done by Nine Inch Nails that honestly is a pale imitation of Daft Punk, there's not much here to chew on other than pretty visuals. And even then, the visuals in this film and what is teased in this film really is something of a rug pull, because what is promised in this film, that being, and I'm going to do a little bit of a mild spoiler here, but if you've seen the trailers, you know Tron coming into our world is very short-lived and not at all really main part of the plot. You get maybe 20 minutes out of a 2-hour runtime of what is promised, what is the catalyst of this film, and it really feels shortchanged. Instead, you get, of course, Jared Letoing it up with a character that, of course, he is a program and he's trying to learn what it takes to be human. and that's kind of his angle throughout this whole film. He never really captivates me the same way that Olivia Wilde and Garrett Hedlund's characters did. Of course, there is the company aspect, and I did find that a little bit interesting. However, because this film centers on Jared Leto's program, him being the kind of the main security program for the rival company of Encom, the movie just suffers tremendously because it really doesn't have anything to do up until the third act. And then when you get to the third act, what they decide to do with the premise of Tron coming to our world on a permanent basis, the whole movie is about them searching for a permanence code to have these programs permanently in our world. When you finally get there where the programs are in our world and interacting, there are some cool moments, but most of them are in the trailers, and there's really not much else to chew on. I think that your mileage will vary. I don't think this is like Tron Legacy, where this was a masterpiece that just didn't get the marketing. Having seen it, it just doesn't have the same gusto of Tron Legacy, which is sad because I think a lot of us were wanting a direct sequel to Tron Legacy, and I don't think that this is something that's going to have a lot of longevity, nor do I think that it's going to develop the cult following of Tron Legacy. And it's just like every other sequel that Disney is doing nowadays, or remake, or trequel, or prequel, or something equal that Disney is deciding to do nowadays that is just falling flat and is dead on arrival. And it's sad because I really wanted a real sequel to Tron Legacy, and because of the numbers that I know Tron Ares did, and I'll put them up on the screen, it doesn't seem like we're going to touch the Tron world again, and that is a real shame because it was really original, and with the Tron Legacy sequel really reviving interest in it, I really felt that Tron deserved a lot more than what Tron Ares gave. But what did you think about the movie? I would love to hear what you thought. Have you seen it? I know it's on Disney Plus now. That's where I got to see it. And just hit me up in the comments. Maybe you liked it. If you did like it, let me know why. It's not that this movie's without merit, but being that it came behind the glorious Tron Legacy, it is a pale imitation at best and a trash sequel at worst. Please subscribe if you would as well. Drop a like, and thank you so much for watching this review, travelers. If you do hit that subscribe button, please, of course, hit that notification bell to be notified every time we go live on this channel. I've got a lot more videos coming your way. I'm so excited to share them as we get into the meat of 2026. We've got a lot of cool movies coming out that I am really excited to talk about, so join me here on this channel, and we've got more content. All of your likes, subscribes, and comments help the channel to grow. I'm hoping to get this channel past the 500 subscriber mark. We're almost to our 250 benchmark, the second benchmark that I want to hit, and I've got something special planned for y'all. Thank you so much for watching this review, travelers, and as always, go with grace.
Ooh, I'm real.